Hello guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Christina and today we are going to look at one of the main Ukrainian monuments and talk about why Ukrainians and Russians are not historically brotherly peoples, so refuting myths. Now, by the way, you can see how in Ukraine in some cities asphalt is being repaired. Actually, my sister and I were also shocked, and if you are watching the channel for the first time, first of all I want to say I'm glad to see you here. And secondly, we are in Kiev. Kiev is the capital of Ukraine, and I'm talking here on the channel about Ukrainians, our culture and everyday life during the war. So let's get started. So it all started in Kiev. In the 9th century, the medieval state of Rus was formed with it centered in Kiev. Over the next few centuries, Rus was broadly defined as the entire territory where the authorities of the Kievan princes was recognized. But in a narrower sense, Rus was understood to mean the lands of the Middle Dnieper region around Kiev. The lands in the northeast, where the Moscow Principality was later formed, were called Zalisia at the time. Russia's imperial ambitions came much later. Ukraine shouldn't suffer because of its neighbors' sick imaginations. Ukraine and Russia developed under different historical conditions and were influenced by different neighbors. The origins of all Ukrainian, Russian, Belarusian and to a large extent Lithuanian people lie in medieval Rus. However, their formation in the following centuries took place under different historical conditions. This determined significant cultural, political and ideological differences as well as separate languages including Ukrainian and Russian. Actually, Ukraine is a country of democratic traditions. After the Mongol invasion in the 13th century, the historical destinies of the territories of modern Ukraine and Russia finally diverged. The Ukrainian territory continued to develop in the European context. Democracy, self-government and European law, religions, tolerance and respect for private property. This determined the political culture of the inhabitants. Most of these features were preserved in the Cossack state. The hetmanate in Ukrainian is Hetmanshina. The northeastern lands of former Rus became part of the Mongol Golden Horde. The political culture of the Moscow Principality was shaped by the Horde's orders and traditions with the exaltation of the ruler and complete obedience to him, absolute domination of the state, lack of private land ownership and communal order. So, Ukraine is not a little brother. Communist propaganda created clear templates for viewing the history of Ukraine. First of all, it was supposed to be an appendage of Russian history. Historical events in Ukraine were supposed to duplicate Russian processes. At the same time, they were supposed to be smaller, secondary. But this propaganda had nothing to do with reality. Ukraine is a European country. Russian propaganda emphasizes the friendship of peoples, the common struggle, and the enemy that prevents Ukraine and Russia from being together. But there is no enemy. There is a clear choice of Ukrainians to be in the European Union. So, Ukrainian culture is unique and self-sufficient. According to the Russian propaganda template, the most important things in the activities of Ukrainian artists were to be their friendship with Russian masters and their focus on Russian models. Anything that didn't fit into these templates was either marginalized or outright discredited. But Ukrainians are also free in our creative choices and have never supported the ideology of the Russian world. Concept of the trinal people. It's an attempt to forcibly tie Ukrainian history to Russian history and deny the right of Ukrainians and Belarusians to make their own historical choices. After Euromaidan, it made absolutely no sense. Now, in order to justify the aggression against the Ukrainian people, Kremlin propaganda has started talking about a single nation. They are also weaving in the defense of orthodoxy. After all, Russia recognizes only the Moscow Patriarchate. We are not a single people, and we have never been. So, Ukraine is not dependent on Russia, no matter how much Russia would like it to be. Ukrainians quickly began to throw off the yoke of energy dependence. Russia was not able to chain us to gas pipes. The annexions of Crimea and the UNs in the eastern Ukraine have also significantly reduced the level of goodwill toward Russia. Russia propagandists have long known that bridges between the two countries are burning. Therefore, they have been constantly inventing myths about why we should be together as a little brother, but Ukraine is independent. Ukrainians are a modern political nation. Putin's propagandists don't understand that Ukrainians don't live in 19th century Russia, but in 21st century Europe. Ukraine regained its independence in 1991 year. A civil nation with a Ukrainian ethnoculture and linguistic core was restored. Guys, thank you for spending this day with us. I hope you had fun, interesting. Write your questions in the comments. I read and answer them all. Thank you for your support. If you want to support my channel even more, you can do it on the links in the description. Thanks for watching and see you in the next videos on the channel. Bye!